Hi, good afternoon, Asha. Hope you're well. Thank you for sending through this piece of work. So this is a 12-mark question on why there was a rising against Tostig in 1065, and you should use Daneborn taxation, another point of your own. So you started with taxation. One of the reasons, okay, good start. El Tostig made uh, the Northumbrian, the Northumbrians, I would just say. Clear that up. Pay heavy taxes. This just generated, created opposition because the north of England, people in the north of England, never paid high taxes. Even okay. So here I would just add a reason why they didn't pay heavy taxes. So one of the reasons why they didn't was because they were often is because they were often or frequently the victims of Viking attacks. And yeah, this was one of the ways that the king ensured that they were happy with his rule, was by keeping taxes on them low because they were often at the forefront of Viking raids. When the Vikings arrived, it was the south of England who paid the Vikings to leave. Okay, so I think you're making that point. Just make it a bit clearer. The north was not used to paying heavy taxes. Okay, so here, yeah, we've got a bit of repetition. What you need to do there is develop this first point. So just think, what could you add to explain this even more? So rather than just repeating your point here, just get rid of this. So when the Vikings arrived, it was the south of England who paid the Vikings to leave. So most of the cost Danegeld was paid by taxpayers in the south of England, which also happened to be have richer and more fertile agricultural land than the north, and yeah, Tostig broke this. It's not quite an agreement, but broke this understanding between the two parts of the kingdom when he raised taxes so quickly, so highly. Okay, so I'd say that was a very good paragraph now, very well explained. Got a couple of key points in there, and there's no repetition. Most importantly, I think that's the one thing you need to work on is ensuring how many powerful, key points are there in each one of your paragraphs. Another reason for the rising was the lack of action against Scotland. Scotland, led by Malcolm III, led raiding parties and used to rob, or I would say rob. That's what criminals do. So we'd say used to loot. Used to raid is a more accurate term. Malcolm III and Tostig enjoyed a close friendship. I don't think we need that in inverted commas, which meant the latter offered terms of peace instead of retaliating. This led to an increase in unpopularity, as many Northumbrians thought that he was too closely aligned with their enemy. And that's also a final reason. My final reason for the rising against Tostig was his roots. Just say his southern roots. Let's be clear. Northumbria had been a part of the Danelaw and closely recognised and valued their, I'd say, independence from the relative independence from the south. Tostig was a southerner, which made him seem like an outsider ruling Northumbria. Furthermore, Tostig spent most of his time in Edward's court instead of spending it in Northumbria. This made him one of the distrust as he had made a real effort to integrate people in Northumbria. And he left much of the day-to-day running of the earldom to his day-to-day running of his earldom to his trusted associate, Copsig. And I think we quite need that there because it's quite clear, and you've already written out the top. Okay, I think now with all the changes that we've made, we can say quite comfortably that that meets the criteria for a level 4. So yeah, I think it's analytical. It's directed consistently at the conceptual focus of the question, which if you look here, explain why there was. So the conceptual focus here is clearly on causation. So why something happened, and I think that's consistent throughout. Well done. Show a clear line of reasoning, which is coherent, sustained, and logically structured, and that's some of the changes that we made to it there, was to make it a bit more logical in its explanation. And there's accurate and relevant information. So, okay, good job. Keep sending these through.